Nigel Poole became head of the Petersfield School 2 years ago. He has built on staff skills through leadership and training to develop strategies which welcome and support disabled pupils.
You come into work in education because you want to help and you have a vocation, and I think that's important. And if you appeal to that with your colleagues and you go back to the basics of why we all started in this job, and you say, remember why we're here, and then you say, if it's to help, then it's to help everybody we can. If there's a real problem, we have to step back, think about it, and try and find a new way of doing it. So I think the main way we've driven the change is simply by asking the question, why not? What are the possible barriers to further progress, and then remove them block by block.
One disabled pupil who is benefiting from the school's willingness to identify and remove barriers is Thomas in Year 9. Thomas has physical impairments and severe learning difficulties.
Both his learning needs and his physical needs were of a level which we hadn't experienced before in both his literacy and his numeracy, and within his social skills as well, and his communication. And so that's been quite a challenge. But we've involved outreach in the form of a special school called Rachel Maddox, and they really have been a major help to us because they've got the experience of dealing with the level work that Thomas is working at, and that's enabled us to be able to help put together work which is appropriate for him.
What are John's targets for Thomas in science?
If you look at the long-term plan, it's always been to improve his confidence. The way in which he feels as though he can do what the other boys can do. And I think the inclusiveness of it all is actually what has been my overarching sort of view for the year for Thomas. And I wanted him to become more skillful at actually using words to describe what he's seen. So we're very much into the world of trying to get Thomas to think about what he's seeing and what he's doing. He will never be able to, at the moment, sort of describe in sentences. But if we give him prompts and we help him with his memory skills, he will be able to reflect back. Hence the work we were doing today about recording colour. What colour is that? It's blue. Is it dark or light? Light.
Do you think Thomas is making progress in science?
I think so, yes. It's been sort of... Sometimes he seems to have made a very sudden leap. And there have been other times when he's still in the same sort of, very limited ability to recall and take part. But very recently, I found that in investigative work, he's been able to measure things quite accurately, and that's been quite a jump for him.
Reasonable adjustments made to support Thomas have included the considered choice of his tutor group.
We see it as a team approach. He was in my tutor group last year, for example, and the tutor group, we planned quite a long time ahead to help him integrate. And when he arrived, everyone was ready. And the way that we were towards him and the kind of way we tried to get him involved helped him and helped other people to know how to behave towards him. Because I think a lot of this is about learned behaviour, and children's behaviour is often modelled by teachers. And when they see how I try and involve him, they try and do the same thing. And I think we've got a very strong role in leading in that respect.
Through Thomas's statement of special educational needs, the LEA supports the school with additional funding for teaching assistants and computer equipment, including a communication aid which Thomas is learning to use. Recognising that the GCSE curriculum might not be appropriate for Thomas, staff have sought alternative curricula. The school is now introducing ASDAN courses, which will benefit Thomas and other disabled pupils.
We're going to be using the Bronze Award programme, which we're going to be following with a group of 6 pupils, and Thomas will be part of that group. For Thomas, I'm going to use this Transition Challenge booklet to work on particular things that he needs to look at, and it looks at independent living skills, personal development, positive self-image and self-advocacy. But for the whole group of the 6 of them, also looking at literacy in everyday life and numeracy in everyday life.
To help develop whole school expertise in making reasonable adjustments, staff invited disability equality trainers into the school to explore some of the issues involved in supporting disabled pupils.
One disabled toilet is all.
And we all realised that it was a big learning curve for the school, but they're still learning, and Thomas is happy here. He's making progress. His reading and his speech, especially, are coming along. But he's everything, he's just so confident, especially with his communication.
And what's happening to it?